श्री सद्गुरुनाथ रामचंद्र महाराज की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ विष्णु महाराज की जय, श्री गुरुदेव दत्त मंगलमूर्ति Moria. Hi, my name is Aarya and I was born in a very religious and spiritually involved family. So growing up, I was always really confused when I saw my parents and grandparents sitting in front of our Mandir with a string of beads in their hands for what seemed like hours and hours. We would occasionally visit someone that my parents called Mandir Maharaj, but at the time, I just thought of those visits as nothing more than a yearly trip to see a grandpa. But as I got older, things slowly started to change. I realized that there were so many choices to make everywhere, from really small and insignificant ones like, which bagel should I have for breakfast today, to really big and life-changing ones like, what college do I want to go to, or what do I want to do with my life? And to make the right choice here, as I found out, you need something called intuition. Intuition is defined as the ability to decide or know something instinctively as opposed to conscious reasoning. This intuition is achieved with the help of a guru. The more I talked with my parents, the more I started to understand that the grandpa that I visited as a kid was actually my parents' guru, Param Pujya Vishnu Maharaj. And all that time that I thought they were just playing with a string of beads in front of our mandir, they were actually practicing something known as upasana. This concept of upasana is one of the 6 pillars of Poornawad, which is a philosophy that Param Pujya Vishnu Maharaj's father, Param Pujya Ramachandra Maharaj, started. The other 5 pillars include Naipunya, Yojagata, Lok Sangraha, Lokmat, and Kaladnyan. Naipunya means expertise. Achieving expertise in whatever it is that you do is essential to lead a successful life. For me, putting this into practice means achieving expertise in whatever topic that I'm learning in math or social studies so that I could succeed in the finals and pass that class. Yojagata means planning. Staying organized and planning what to do with our time is a skill that we all need to acquire at some point in our lives, because without it, we would lead a life of chaos. I implemented Yojagata in a pretty early point in my life. As the oldest daughter of an immigrant family, my parents were never really able to run behind me all the time, so I was responsible for taking care of my deadlines for assignments, projects, and events since elementary school. This is when I started to keep a journal with to-do lists and calendars with all my deadlines, and I still do to this day. Lokasangraha means socializing. Especially in this day and age, building connections with real people is crucial to leading a life filled with content. I moved to the United States at the age of 10, which is at a much later point than the rest of my peers. So during my middle school years, I was always the reserved and shy kid who had no friends. And it makes sense because I didn't really talk to anyone. But one day I came across a debate team poster in the hallways and decided to put myself out there and talk to my classmates, some of whom were even surprised that I was mute after they heard me speak. Eventually, I started to become more open and talkative and was able to build these connections that have pulled me through my lowest points and made me into the person that I am today. Lokmat means people's opinions and emphasizes the importance of listening to what other people have to say and incorporating that criticism and praise into the actions and decisions that you take. This is something that I've recently started to implement in my life a lot more than I had in the past because I have learned that listening to others is one of the most important things you can do. A few weeks ago, I decided to start a badminton club at my school along with some of my friends. And at first, I was so focused on what I thought was the right thing to do for the club that whatever my friends said just went in and out of my head. And as expected, one day I was told that I was being too bossy. And as an attempt to prove that that was not the case, I said, okay, I'll just listen to what everyone has to say and we will just do what you all think is right. And contrary to my expectation, that week everything for the club ran really smoothly. This was my big aha moment. When I started to incorporate other people's criticisms and opinions into my decisions and actions. Kaladnyan means current knowledge and stresses the role of knowledge in keeping up with the world that you live in to grow as a person and truly excel. Living in the digital age that seems to transform the world that I live in every day, Kaladnyan is something that I practice, or rather have had to practice, to excel in school and even in social situations. I need to keep up with the news to do well in the discussions in my social studies class, and I need to keep up with the new slang to foster a healthy life. Lastly, upasana means prayer. This is the more spiritual pillar of Poornawad and advocates for praying as a form of calming down and gaining better insight into yourself and your mind. Upasana comes in many different forms and is nothing more than just a way to connect with yourself for a few minutes and relieve stress. For me, this means sitting down in front of our mandir and doing jap every morning before starting my day. I feel blessed to have been connected with this Poornawad family and philosophy at a very early point in my life, and I pray that Param Pujya Ramachandra Maharaj and Param Pujya Vishnu Maharaj will continue to shower their blessings on every one of us. So to leave you all with one last thing, Param Pujya Ramachandra Maharaj has said, Jivan hi ek kala hai. Life is an art. And through my journey with this Poornawad family, I hope and aspire to make my life a piece of art. I thank you all for patiently listening to me today. Jai Poornawad.